Recording. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to day 2 of the Build Your Consulting Business Now Summit. I keep adding the words 2020 to the end of that because I want you guys to understand something, that this is our first year doing this particular summit, but it is going to get bigger and better every single year. So we want to encourage you guys, if you are not already connected, to make sure that you are liking and staying connected to the Management Academy on all of your social media outlets, to Jacqueline Grant, so that you can stay abreast of the many things that's going to be happening right here with the Management Academy. But today, we're here for you. We're here to help you understand how you can, at this point, right now, today, build your consulting business. And listen, we don't want you to walk away from this situation thinking that it's something that you do in the future, but this is something that you can do right now. So yesterday, day 1 is in the history books, and it was phenomenal. You'll have the opportunity to go back and look at some of those recordings on your free time, but today we're going another step higher. We've got some amazing tracks planned for you. There is the ability track and also the knowledge track. So please take an opportunity to go through your agenda on the Hoover app, see what speakers that you want to be there for, and align your agenda so that you don't miss a single nugget. My name is LaWanda, will be LaWanda, and I am with YouNeedAMC.com. I'll be sitting in with you today for a couple of hours early this morning and then towards the end of the day. So I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback in the app about how we can continue to seed into you to make sure that you are building your consulting business. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to get ready to bring to this stage the visionary, the organizer, and the founder of the Management Academy, Miss Jacqueline Grant. Would you receive her now?
Woo! Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hi.
Jacqueline.
It's great to see everyone. I am just so amazed, so grateful for you to be here, and so grateful for all who showed up yesterday on our first day of our summit. We had a fabulous day, and the results have been tremendous. The feedback,
Absolutely.
the chat messages, the direct messages I've been getting, the emails I've been getting, and the comments, of course, from our team who have been dealing with you, interacting with you, helping you along the way. They've shared your comments and concerns as well, and we want them to just keep coming. Just keep them coming, because this now becomes the baseline for all that will happen in the future. So your feedback helps us to plan for the future, for the next one, and the next one, and the next one, because we're going to keep going higher and higher, taking what we've learned, best practices, lessons learned. We practice what we teach.
That's
and we
right.
practice what all of our 30 plus experts, consultant experts, are sharing about mindset, about tools and techniques and technology. We're putting it all into action. We practice what we teach.
And so, Jacqueline, let me ask you a quick question really quickly. With that being said, talking about yesterday, what was one of your favorite? I mean, there were so many things. What was one of your favorite takeaways from yesterday?
I have to get my long list of all my notes here, if you can see them, all of my notes.
I have mine too.
Oh my gosh. So what do I start with?
So many takeaways.
You know what? I'm going to have to put them into a list, and I'll put them into the chat, because they're all equally great. I can't choose.
Exactly. And that's just a testament to just how incredible these 30 speakers that are lined up over the course of these next few days are. You guys are not going to want to miss a single session, and make sure that you are where you need to be. So you're looking fresh and amazing. You look like you got you some rest yesterday, Jacqueline.
Yes.
And some dinner.
Nourishment does a body good. Sleep does a body even better.
And you are revved up, fired up, and ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I've got a little caffeine here.
Hydration.
Going. And I really just want to thank you, LaWanda. I donned a new name for you yesterday.
What was that? Hey, I like it.
She's the voice, and keeping us on track and going. I want to just set the pace for today. Of course, we had our great speakers yesterday. today. Lawanda talked about who's on track for today. And just know that this has not been done willy-nilly. This has not been done just throwing things together. This has been a specifically curated pool of experts based on what I know a new business owner who's been in business less than 5 years needs to have encircled around them as far as content, information, support, resources that you will need. You may not need it today, you may not need it tomorrow, but my vision and my purpose in all of this is that you come away with this statement. Wow, I didn't know I needed that. And I do need that. And again, you may not need it today. You might not be ready for it today, but when you do need it, you will have a vetted resource that you know, like, and trust by nature of being part of this summit. You will get to know, like, and trust them. And plus, you'll know that they were referred by me because I brought them into this lovely community of experts that you now have access to, that you can participate in, that you can network with. Build your LinkedIn network. You should have at least 30 or more new connections from participating in this summit. I wanted to be able to make sure that whenever you had a need for a resource, again, today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, that you won't have to say, well, I know I need this, but I don't know anyone who does that. You don't have to Google it to find someone, and you have no point of connection or reference to someone you might Google as a resource. You will have a vetted resource, and you always have me and the Management Academy team to be able to ask further questions, get referrals. We're here for you. We want to be here for your success, not just today, not just tomorrow, but as you grow and build and launch your consulting business now. So let me share with you a couple of things for today. We have 2 videos that I'd like to show before we get started on our tracks. I know that one of our presenters is a tag team, a dynamic team, the dynamic duo of Greg and Bonnie Dixon. They will be presenting later this afternoon in the track, but I wanted to show as a testimonial what they've done for me, because you may need their service and you might wonder, well, what does their work look like? I'm going to show you right now, because what they did for me, they can do for you and more. So let me show you first their video, and then when we come back, I have a very special inspirational video from someone you might know. You might know her. But stay tuned. Let me show you this and share my screen. And I am going to ask the team, are you seeing my screen?
Oh, it's cut off at the moment, Jacqueline.
Are you seeing it now?
Yeah, much better now.
Okay. Are you hearing?
Yes, we can hear it.
Okay.
Good morning. This is Bonnie McDonald Dixon, and we're here today to interview Jacqueline Grant, founder and director at the Management Academy. She serves entrepreneurs, medium and large size businesses, and she has a full circle management consulting firm. And so, Jacqueline, we're so happy you're here today with us. We'd love to learn a little bit more about you and what you do. What problems do you help entrepreneurs and businesses solve?
Well, Bonnie, first off, thank you so much for having me. I'm very much appreciative of the opportunity to share with the audience about the Management Academy and who we serve, because I believe it's very important to be able to help people to be able to be all that they can be. And that's the foundation of what we do. We are a business management and marketing consulting firm, and thus we also do professional development certification training, which leads to the name, the Management Academy. We utilize project management as the foundation to help businesses to run more efficiently and more effectively, saving time and money. And so we utilize that project management methodology to be able to help businesses to improve their processes and procedures. But we also help professionals to earn certifications in project management, also Scrum, Agile, or Six Sigma. You may be familiar with any of those. And so we utilize our knowledge base to practice what we teach. So we teach project management and we utilize project management in service to our businesses. So the problems that we serve are process oriented, figuring out the best way, the most strategic and straightforward way to get the end result of the project, program, or whatever it is that that business owner needs. And the nice thing about it is that with project management, it can apply to personal projects as well as professional projects. So if you have a great recipe, it doesn't matter what type of, let's say, cake recipe you have, the foundation of that cake recipe is going to be the same. And then you're going to add your secret sauce or your extra chocolate or whatever type of flavoring you're going to add to make it the special cake that you're making. But when you have a good recipe, the recipe works. And the same thing holds for project management, in that the recipe works because it's a blueprint for success.
What insight sparked you to start your own business?
Well, Bonnie, my mother was in the fashion industry. So after working on 7th Avenue during the day, she came home and she sewed garments for women who were going to, maybe it was a party, an event, or they maybe were getting married, or they were the mother of the bride or mother of the groom. She specialized in weddings. She could make anything for men or women, but she specialized in weddings. And I saw that entrepreneurial spirit, even though I didn't see it as entrepreneurship at that time as a child, but I grew up seeing how you could create something in your mind and make it come into fruition and make other people not only happy, but change their whole spirit, their whole being, and how they go forward in the world. And when I saw as a child that they put on those outfits that were custom made for them, and saw how their body language changed, and how they looked themselves in the mirror, and how when they went to their event and they came back and they told my mother what a great time they had and all the compliments that they got and how they danced in their outfit and how they felt, I was like, wow, my mother really had an impact on this person. And I saw that as what really entrepreneurship was all about. Now, fast forwarding, I saw how I had creative abilities, but I wanted to see how I could monetize them. How can I use that to earn a living? And I was artistic as well, but I didn't utilize sewing as my outlet. I was more that creative, visionary type of person, and I was artistic as well, drawing and painting. And so I saw that I had the ability to draw and create. And when I got my first computer, I said to myself, how can I make this computer pay for itself utilizing my art? And I started making logos and drawing through various software packages. And I was in a store one day and someone saw what I was doing because I was printing it out. And they said, can you make a logo for me? And I said, yes. Now, I had never done it before, but I knew I had the ability to do it. And that's the key thing. Knowing you have the ability to do something, whether you've actually done it or not before. And so I said yes. And they hired me to create a logo for their business. When I did it, delivered it to them, they said, great. Can you make a business card? Can you put this on a business card? Can you create a business card for us? Now, I had never done it before, but I knew what business cards looked like. I knew the components that a business card needed to have. And I said, yeah, I can do that. And I made a set of business cards. And they said, great. Can you do this on a letterhead? I had never done a letterhead, but I knew what a letterhead looked like. And I said, yes, I can do that. And so I created the letterhead for them. And that was the start of seeing how something I could create in my mind's eye, someone actually valued, wanted to pay me for it, and they were happy with the result that I gave them. And so that evolved into signage on actual buildings. As I moved forward and other people referred me, I was referred to a company that needed signage for their building, exterior and interior. So that's kind of how I got the bug of creating something in my mind's eye and bringing it to fruition. And so it has evolved now to a variety of different things, and we'll likely touch on some of them as we go forward. So now I want you to stay tuned for the rest of that interview as we go forward today. So you have to stay tuned to hear the rest of the story, the end of the video, to be able to kind of be a little cliffhanger to make you stay with us for today. Of course, there'll be replays available to you, but there's nothing like being here live. So you may be working during the day. Check in with us from time to time. Check the schedule and see what speakers you'd like to actually be there live for. But we're going to get started with our day. There's more. Stay tuned. There's more coming, more surprises, some prizes as well as surprises.
I love prizes.
Yeah, prizes are coming. So
And your story is so amazing. I can't wait to hear the rest of it.
thank you. It's my pleasure to share because that is me, and all I have is to give is to me.
It's called
All
servant.
that
It's
to
called
give.
servant leadership. You are a
Exactly.
servant leader.
That's
And
all
we
that
love
I
it.
have to give. So I give it freely, and if it connects with you, I'm happy for that. So let's get our day going.
Yeah.
And if you see anything in my story or in the stories of the speakers that you will hear today, let that inspire you to do great things, to launch and soar your consulting business now. So we are moving to our first sessions, and I have me as the first panelist on my track. And what I'm going to talk about is linked leadership. That is one of my signature programs, linked leadership. It's showing how to actually use LinkedIn to benefit you in your networking, in your finding clients. One of the key questions that new business owners or those who are considering having their own business, they usually ask me about is, well, I have a business idea, I have a skill or a talent that I would like to implement into a business, but how do I find clients? That's the scary part. That's usually the first big hurdle. How do I find clients? Utilize what you have in your hand. There is a biblical scripture about using what's in your hand, and that is true because the gifts and talents and abilities that you already have in you, as Jason Cowie talked about yesterday, the 7 biblical principles of success, what you have inside of you is natural. It's your natural giftings. It's what you have to give to the world. But your job, our jobs, is to water those seeds of greatness. They're already in you. Everything you need to succeed is really already in you. But just like a baby, you have to be nurtured. You have to nurture those seeds to let it grow, to be all that it can be. And depending on who you surround yourself with, like all the experts at this particular summit, will determine the ground, the fertile ground that you surround yourself and implant yourself as a seed in. If you see what I'm saying, you are that seed, and this is the ground that you can now plant yourself in to grow.
So, Jacqueline, I know you're going to be talking to us for this session about LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And LinkedIn is an incredible tool. It is a powerful tool. And so we really appreciate learning from an expert on how to leverage our LinkedIn accounts so that we can maximize our exposure. One of the things that we have encouraged the participants here with this summit to do was to make sure that they are connecting on LinkedIn with the individuals that are presenting, because like you said, these are referrals that are coming from you, vetted individuals who can help us build our consulting businesses and cause them to soar and thrive. So we are looking so forward to your presentation today, Ms. Jacqueline Grant. Thank you for taking the time out of planning this amazing summit to give us those core nuggets. We're looking forward to your session, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, LaWanda. We appreciate you being here, being the voice of the Build Your Consulting Business Now Summit.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, I present Ms. Jacqueline Grant. Take good care.
Thank you. So let's get started regarding LinkedIn. One of the questions I often get asked is, again, how do I get clients? Utilizing the network you already have, or maybe you're developing your LinkedIn connection list. One thing you want to do is set a goal. You want to set short-term goals and you want to set long-term goals. So what I'd like to do is to make sure the chat is open and the Q&A is open. Please make sure if you have a question regarding LinkedIn or are utilizing LinkedIn in your business, that you please use this time. You have me available to you to answer your questions. Please make sure to put your questions in the chat and make sure that I can answer your questions for you. So this is not the time to be shy. This is the time. There is no bad question. There is no silly question. Please make sure you ask your questions. So regarding LinkedIn, one of the goals you want to set is making a big goal and bringing it down to small, manageable pieces. And that's a project management concept as well. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you take a big goal and you break it into small, manageable pieces. So what should be a big goal? One big goal should be to get to 500 plus in your LinkedIn connections, 500 or more connections. And let me make a distinction here. There is a difference between a connection and someone who is following you or that you are following them. There is a difference. What's the difference, you may say? The difference is with a connection, an actual connection, you have the ability to actually have conversations back and forth, share information back and forth, whereas a follower just follows you. They see you in their feed. You might, if you're following them, you will see them in your feed, but you can't necessarily have the same type of dialogue back and forth. You're just seeing each other's feeds. It's better to have a connection. You may want to start with following someone, but it's better to have the connection because the connection allows you many more benefits of connection to be able to make that a relationship and to build that relationship that could turn into business. Now, I will share with you that the majority of my business comes through LinkedIn. That's not to say that there aren't those on Facebook and all the other social media platforms. And while I do have a presence on all of those, that's not my primary playpen or sandbox. That's not my primary sandbox because LinkedIn is where business decisions are made, and LinkedIn is where business leaders make their business decisions. And that's where the business leaders are. Did you know that the majority of LinkedIn platform participants have a close to six-figure income or more? They are the decision makers within their organizations. They're either mid-level managers, upper-level managers, C-level managers, C-suite related personnel within organizations, or business owners. So they are the ones who are deciding what purchases are made within their organization. They are the ones who determine how the spending is done, what the spending is made upon, what the needs of the company are, and what solutions need to be purchased to be able to get those goals for the company achieved. So you have to be able to be in contact with those decision makers because you likely know that most decisions are not made by a posting or an ad or let's say a job posting to hire someone. Most of the time when a need is determined, someone says, who do you know that could do this, before it ever gets to a job posting or gets to any type of public platform that is advertised. It's always an internal network first. It's always, who do you know? They ask someone that they know, do you know anyone who does this? Do you know anyone? Or the opportunity becomes available and other people are saying, well, this is coming available, you should apply for this. You likely have experienced, if you have been in the job market, that many times jobs that have been posted formally, the organization already knew who they wanted to hire because it was an inside job per se. It was something that was communicated internally, and there was a referral source that was already internally determined. So why not use that to your advantage by developing those relationships with those decision makers by setting, first off, a big goal of getting to 500 or more LinkedIn connections. And then if you are not at that point, you want to break that down to smaller, more manageable pieces by setting a goal of how many you would like to increase on a monthly basis, let's say, and breaking that down to a weekly basis. So that means if your goal is to get, let's say, 20 new LinkedIn connections in a month. Then you might want to break that down to a weekly basis, how many you would like to get on a weekly basis. Then what activities do you have to engage in order to meet those 20 new possible contacts? One way is attending events like this, live events like this, networking events like this, meetup events, any kind of network event. Everything right now is virtual. So you have an array of things to choose from, and we're so glad that you chose to be here with us to be able to network with us and our group of experts. So you want to be able to set time to do networking. So that is kind of external from you going out. But there are also ways to network where others can contact you. So you want to look at how you develop your settings to be able to be contacted by those who may want to connect with you, because you want to make sure that it's a two-way street. So you want to make sure in your settings that you are able to be found on LinkedIn, and you want to make sure that you are open to being contacted by people who may not already know you. So you may want to set it up so that they don't need to have your email address in order to send you a LinkedIn connection request. So you want to make sure you take a look at that. Let me check to see if there are any questions so far. Okay, and nothing in the chat yet, but still don't be shy now. Anyway, so that's the first goal, is to set a big goal of getting to 500 connections and breaking it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Let's say you already have 500 connections, but here's usually what I hear as well. I don't know any of those connections. I don't really know them. They sent me a connection request and I just said yes. And that's typically what happens. If someone you don't know sends you a request to connect and you don't know that person, you've never met them physically in person, or you don't know them, you may be apprehensive because you say, well, I don't know this person. But what is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a networking platform. How are you going to network and meet people if you only meet people that you already know? You have to expand your horizon. You have to take the opportunity to be able to meet new people, find out what synergies you might have in common, and be able to expand your horizons, expand your network. It's really important to go beyond your comfort zone. So some of the things I hear about is, well, my job may look at my profile and see certain things. So you can go into your settings and make sure that only certain people can see your profile. So if that's a concern for you, you can definitely do that to make sure that you are locking down your settings to determine who has access to your particular profile. You can also block certain people to be able to see your platform. So go into your settings and explore there, and you can definitely lock down who can or cannot see your information. I know that's often a concern for those who are working in a corporate structure, that their job may not approve of certain things that they look at or that they might like. And one thing you have to be aware of is that LinkedIn is very different than Facebook or some of the other social platforms, in that what you might post on Facebook and everyone likes it, that doesn't necessarily translate over into LinkedIn. So I'm giving you the comparison in that LinkedIn is a professional networking system where individuals are going to be mindful of who else is looking at what they like. So the engagement might not show as much on the surface, but this is where the development of the relationships come in, because if they really do want to comment or ask you a question or engage with you on a deeper level, they'll message you directly. And that's where the ability to be a connection versus a follower comes in, where they can directly message you and have that deeper conversation versus someone who's just following you and they're not able to do that. So don't be surprised or feel bad that if you post something and you don't get a tremendous amount of likes. It doesn't mean that people aren't seeing them, because you can look into your own posts. This is something that only you can see, and see how many people have seen your actual post. So what I'm going to do is go into my LinkedIn profile. Let me set this up while I'm talking here and share with you some things on my LinkedIn profile that I can show you how to do with yours. And in the meantime, let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to ask Glenn, since he is here, give him the ability to talk, and just let me know if you can see my screen when I come on board here. And Glenn, can you let me know if you see my screen? I'm sorry, yes?
Yes,
Okay, I'm not hearing you quite well, but I think I heard a yes. All right, so this is my screen, and I'm showing plus 500 plus connections. So this is the mile marker you want to get to. And what this also does is that once you hit this 500 plus, it actually exponentially connects you to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other people, because now you are connected to all of those people's connections. So this is kind of the mile marker that you want to get to get the most benefit out of LinkedIn. I want to show you my post views. Now this is you can do this for your own particular profile. You'll go to your own profile, going up here and clicking on me, and you'll get to your profile. That's one way to get there. So if you look at your personal dashboard, this is private to you. No one else can see this. I'm going to click on my posts. These are all of my posts. So this is a post I made just today, 4 hours ago. So let's see. I've had 168 views of this post in just 4 hours. Now, compared to Facebook, that might not be a lot for some people. But for LinkedIn, that's pretty good, because again, this was posted, I try to post in LinkedIn before 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, or whatever your time zone is. Only because most people who may be working, they are going to look at their social media prior to starting work. So prior to 9 o'clock, you want to post, and then usually in the afternoon, people take a break around 2 or 3 o'clock. If you choose to post in the afternoon, that might be a good time as well. But the only way to really know that is to post something and look at the engagement over the course of several days of posting something and seeing what the trends are for your particular audience, because everybody's audience is different. So you have to kind of get the trend and the pattern of your particular audience. But this particular post got 168 views so far. I've had some likes and comments as well. And this is one that I also did this morning 4 hours ago. And this one has gotten 46 views. And what you can also do is look at, when you click on this, it will also tell you where these views have been coming from. So it tells you that 9 of the people who viewed my post are project managers, and that's not unusual for me because my audience is primarily project managers. They are also business strategists, consultants, executive directors, and a university professor, 3 of those. And it also tells you the location. Most of them are from my greater Atlanta area, as well as Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., New York City, and so forth. And then you can click show more, and you can get even more details, drill down a little bit more. So use this to your advantage. If you want to be known in a particular area, or you want to expand your area, you want to make sure that you take a look at your numbers, because you can't manage what you can't measure. So what I suggest you do from today going forward, Make a note of your numbers, how many LinkedIn connections you have. We're still in the early part of this particular month. If you're watching this live, today is the 7th of October. You can make a note as to where you are in the beginning of October and make some effort to do some different things, and now see where you are this time in the beginning of November or 30 days from now if you're watching on a replay. So you can take a look at this and just track and see what improvements you make over time. Another thing that you can do is to look at your posts in general and see, this is Lucinda Cross, who is one of our speakers coming up later this week, and see what types of posts have more engagement than others. And that will give you an idea as to what to do more of. And look at this particular one. This one has had over 1,100 views, and that was done 2 days ago. So it gives you an idea of your trend. Here's our wonderful voice, LaWanda, here, and and she's pretty popular. Look at her. So let's see where her views are coming from. So we're getting a lot of Los Angeles here, Charlotte. Now this is based on my population, my LinkedIn connections, but responding to her particular post. So this gives you an idea, and it lets me know where traffic is coming from, where people are looking at this post from. So what I want to do is just kind of scroll through this and see what I can share with you based on what I've been sharing. Larissa is coming up, but going to some of my previous posts from way back and letting you know how some of these posts have actually allowed me to gain new business. For example, yesterday I talked about how I have done business with Jason Cowie. Now he is in Trinidad Tobago, and I have never physically met him. However, here's an example. I have never met him, but we have done business, we've become friends, and we have networked, we've referred clients to each other. You can't just focus on people you already know. You have to expand your business. And when you are able to expand, some people say, well, I don't know what to say. I'm going to give you some examples of what I've said in just a moment to engage with people that I don't know. I'll go into that in a moment. Diogene, he's a speaker that's coming up, I think tomorrow. And he has Consulting Lifestyle Podcast. Now, I went to an event called PodFest back in March 2020, right before the lockdown. Got back right before everything shut down. And I met Diogene on the very last day of a 5-day event. And who does PodFest is Chris Commitsos. And he is a speaker on the last day of our summit. So I have 2 speakers that I met in March of this year who have become speakers for this event. That's what networking does for you. Now, our tech guru, Andrew Weiss, he's on board with us. And how did I find him? Through Chris Commitsos and PodFest. And again, these networking relationships come on board by going outside of your comfort zone, engaging with people that you may not have ever physically met, but now we're all engaged, we're doing business together, and we are flourishing, and our networks are growing, and it's tremendous. So I want to just share with you based on, sometimes people say, well, I don't know what to say. So I want to go into my messaging and go into some of my messages that I will share with some people that I've engaged with previously. So I'm going to go back. See if I can find one that was a new business connection. Well, here's an example. Let's use Lucinda, somewhat of a recent example. So this is what I said to her. I've never met her, but I was doing some research to try to find a good person who had a book that could be a speaker for this particular summit. So this was my very first message to her. Hi, Lucinda, I love the power and purpose of your book, The Big Ask. It's educational, inspirational, and just what my audience of professionals need to move forward in their careers towards raises, promotions, and entrepreneurship. I would love to interview you for my summit. Would you like to learn more? So short, sweet, and to the point. I always want to make sure that they understand why I'm contacting them. So I want you to put as a first point of making a connection with someone, to let them know why you're contacting them, why you want to connect with them, because that's what they're going to want to know. When you receive a connection request, what's the first thing in your mind? Why is this person writing to me? What do they want? So you want to make that clear up front. So she responds back, please tell me more. I would love to be a part of it. So she gives her email address, and I did send her a direct message to her email. So, I let her know that I did send her an email response, and, we started the conversation from there. So that gives you an idea of what you can say to someone to be able to engage with them. Here's another one, Cher Jones. Now, I've been a follower of Cher. She has a tremendous show on LinkedIn. You know that LinkedIn now has their own LinkedIn Live broadcast system, and she's been a part of that from day one. And she is a speaker for this particular summit as well. So here's the first message I sent to her. I sent her a connection request. And I said, thanks for accepting my connection request. Always say thank you, because what typically happens is when someone accepts your connection request, or you send a connection request and they accept, then no one talks anymore. They're just adding a number to their connections, and they never speak to each other. Connect, talk, have conversations. If you start it up, be the example to start the conversation. Don't wait for someone else to do it. So I said, hi, Cher, thanks for accepting my connection request and the voice message. And that's another tremendous thing to do, is to utilize the voice messaging system to be able to send a voice message in addition to or instead of a written message. Thanks for accepting my connection request and the voice message. I will be utilizing that in the future. I will put a few of these LinkedIn faux pas. She has a list of LinkedIn faux pas, things not to do on LinkedIn, and I will try to do that. So here is where I sent, yes, here is where I asked her to be a part of the event. Thanks for doing such a wonderful show each week. I enjoy your energy, tips, and strategies. So again, you want to have a point of connection while you're writing to them, what you all might have in common, what you felt might have been beneficial for something that they've done. I've created a summit to serve this audience, and I strongly believe your advice regarding personal branding will help them to develop a strong and effective presence as they successfully develop their business. And I give some information about the summit. And I would love the opportunity to share additional details with you. So you always want to put the ball in their court to follow up, to see if they're interested, so that you're giving them the next step. And for those of you familiar with marketing and network marketing, this is the call to action. You always want to give a call to action at the end of your little message, is to ask them to do something. So you're asking them to let me know if they'd like to learn more, and that opens the door for the conversation. So I want to come out of this and ask if there are any questions, or Glenn, since are you still here? You can let me know if there are any questions in the chat. Let's go to a couple of other people. Let me stop sharing for a moment, and let's see, chat, questions. Okay, well, one of the other questions I get is regarding security. In your settings, you can set your settings to be able to make sure that whoever you're sharing information with, they can receive your information, and those that you do not, maybe you want to block someone, you don't want certain people to see your information, you want to be able to make sure that you can secure your information. That's very important, especially in these days where there's a lot of hacking going on and so forth. So you want to be able to make sure that you set your settings appropriately for your particular use. We have a speaker that's coming up, I believe, today or tomorrow, that is also utilizing LinkedIn in really great ways in service to businesses. Sanjay is going to be a speaker later on, so please make sure to stay tuned for his particular session. That's my little timer there. But I want to make sure that you have an idea of how to utilize LinkedIn. Of course, in this short time period, I've only been able to give you a few tips and strategies, but there is so much more. So I want to make this offer to you. If you would like a one-on-one strategy session for how you would utilize LinkedIn for your particular business, whether you've started it or not, whatever business idea you have, I welcome the opportunity to give you a free consultation on how to utilize LinkedIn. And if you'd like a deeper dive, I also have my program called Linked Leadership. This is actually a program, if you saw on yesterday when I was in the Dominican Republic, I presented this in the Dominican Republic, this program. I've run this program several times, and I incorporate components of it in my service to my clients to be able to help them to be a leader in LinkedIn based on their knowledge and experience, to be able to develop business contacts, develop their brand, and to be able to have business come to them based on their knowledge and experience and the service that they have to offer. So I want to thank you for your time. We're going to start with our next speaker at the top of the hour, but I wanted to be able to share with you just a few of the tips for utilizing LinkedIn for your business to grow your brand and to be able to expand your network. Don't be afraid. If you put out good information, show the person why you want to connect with them. One last thing I'll do is share my screen again and share with you some of the things that I've said to people to develop just a initial connection. Let's see. So we're back here. I want to share with you someone that I've reached out to initially and see what the initial conversation was. Okay, so let's see. Everyone I've been contacting has been related to this event of recent. So let's see if we can find someone. Okay, the better way is to go from here, my network. Go to my network, and this gives you my connections in order, the most recent connections. Now, although I just connected with Ebonique, she's one of my previous graduates, so I've known her for some time. So I want to go back to someone else. So let's look at Shadid. Now, I wrote to him, my message was, this is very important. Let me make this big for you. So I said, hi, Shadid. While doing some research, I came across your profile. I am reaching out to connect and determine your level of interest in presenting at my upcoming virtual summit in October. I would love to share details and benefits of participation. Would you be open to learning more? So again, you see the different components here. First off, the greeting, of course. How you found them. If you were referred by someone else, put that in there. If you were doing some research for something and you came across their profile, that's what I said. You might have mutual connections. That's something else that I might put into an initial point of contact, is to say, I see we have certain people in common. You want to put that in there. You want to put why you're contacting them. So I'm reaching out to determine your level of interest regarding my summit, and then the call to action. I would love to share more details with you, and then putting the ball in their court. Would you be open to learning more? So that's what you have to do. Short, sweet, to the point. I hope this gives you some idea as to what to do, what you can create as far as your own initial message. And this is what he replied. Let's see. And this was also sent with a connection request, not just a follow. This was sent with a connection request. And he said yes, he connected, and then I said, thanks for connecting. So again, just because they connect, now start the conversation. Don't just leave it dead in the water. Shadid, thanks for connecting. Following up with you to determine your level of interest, because he didn't answer that part of the question, so I'm following up now to confirm. So again, take the initiative. Don't always wait for the other person to act, because sometimes they may be just like you, but they haven't taken this particular summit. They haven't gotten the advice and the tips and the strategies from this summit on how to engage people in LinkedIn. They maybe are in the same boat where they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. So take the initiative, take the leadership role of starting the conversation and showing them what to do and how it's done. Practice makes perfect. You'll be surprised how many people will be open to connecting with you and starting a conversation, but they don't necessarily know what to do. But now that you do, at least you know some of the steps you can take. Showcase that and engage others, and they will do the same. Let's see if we can find someone else. Let's see. Someone else. Actually, let's look at Fred. Now, Fred is a connection of one of my connections, so I don't know Fred directly, but what I said to him was, let's see, I sent him a connection request. And I said, actually, now I remember, he's a connection of one of my connections. He is the connection of Kathy Sexton, who is also a presenter during this summit. And one of the slides that I posted with Kathy as a presenter, Fred liked that particular post. So what you also want to do as a marketing strategy, a way to expand your network, is to look at the people who like your particular post and start to engage with them, thanking them first off for liking your post. That's something that will set you apart from everyone else, because most people don't do that. Most people don't acknowledge the people who like their posts. So this is something you can do to stand out. It will make them know you and get to be familiar with you. And of course, what are they going to do? They're going to click on your picture to see who this person is and what they're all about. And they may respond to you and say, well, you know, I see you do this, or you have an interest in that, or we have these different people in common as connections, or you do what I have been needing. Can we have a conversation? You'd be surprised how often that happens. And that's what happens with me many times, is that people who, let's say, are interested in becoming project management certified, they are seeing my information, they read my profile, they see what I do, and they say, well, can you help me get certified? And the conversation starts from there. So with Fred, I said, hi, Fred, thanks for your support of Kathy Sexton as a presenter for my summit. We likely share other synergies because he is a speaker. He does other things related to management. So that opens the door for us to have conversation on other topics. It helps him to understand why I'm contacting him and what we might have in common and what the future conversations might be about. And then I said, would you be open to connecting here on LinkedIn? So you always want to ask. You're sending the invitation. This is part of sending the invitation, but you always want to ask, because that, again, from marketing, is the call to action, putting the ball in their court, giving them something to do. So he writes back, thanks for reaching out on LinkedIn. And he shares a little bit about what he does. And please contact me. Check it out. Please contact me. So he says, if you ever want to improve your public speaking or presentation skills, please contact me. I speak, coach, and write and he tells me all about what he does. So what's going to happen now? What do you think? When we have our next Build Your Consulting Business Now Summit, which will be 3 months from now, we'll do it. We're doing this on a quarterly basis so that you can take all that you learned during this summit, implement it into your strategy, into your business, and then as you grow, you come back again and you get more to build upon what you learned this time, and you continue to grow and scale your business. So you are utilizing this and implementing it with the actionable steps that we're giving you. So what's going to happen for our next summit? Who do you think I'm going to contact? I'm going to contact Fred to be a speaker. So watch out, take a look out. If Fred is available and open to being a part of the summit, you'll likely see him as a speaker for our next summit. So this is how it happens. This is how it happens. And again, when you can take those steps beyond what everybody else does, you stand out. And let's see, last but not least, I want to share with you, go back to home, setting up your posts. You can provide videos, photos, and if you are looking for a new job, you can utilize that as well. And writing articles is a great way to be able to showcase your authority. I really want to thank you for being here. There's much, much more to share with you, much, much more that we can expose you to utilize LinkedIn to your benefit. Again, if you email me, and I will put this into the chat, J Grant at Build Your Consulting Business Now Summit.com, and in the subject line, put J Grant LinkedIn. I will send you information regarding how to have a free consultation on how you can personally utilize LinkedIn. Also, to be able to share with you the Linked Leadership Program to showcase how you can use that for your business to be able to grow and scale, launch and soar, to build your consulting business now and have clients coming to you wanting your secret sauce for success to help you gain new clients. That's how I get them, and I want to help you to do the same. So I'll close out now. Our next speaker will be up at the top of the hour. Understand that this first session, they're back to back. From here on, throughout the day, will be a 15-minute break in between each speaker, and new speakers will be coming up at the top of each hour. Thank you, and have a great rest of the summit.